Hello, this is another episode of Lunar Poetry Shorts. I'm David Turner, and today I'm joined by Rachael Black, and we're in southeast London in Lee Green, which is a bit weird because I haven't been here since I used to go to primary school around the corner, and I haven't been here since then. By way of introduction, we're going to have a poem from Rachael. So here we go.
Thanks, David. Angel Station. I kissed him at Angel Station, between the two platforms of the Northern Line, that great subterranean route that connects the sticks to the stone, glass and chrome heart of the city. 2 floors below ground, he made my heart pound, and I found the friable floor beneath my feet as powder, insubstantial for me to stand on. And as the palpitations racked my chest, he stole my breath, and I did it again. The next time, at Waterloo, named so apt because it truly was mine, I let him go, let him pass through, and as he disappeared towards the tube, I knew I was defeated. The previous kiss was not repeated. Instead, just left ungestured as I said goodnight, and travelling home I kicked myself and cried. Weeks passed, and several rendezvous all safely chased, until, at last, under Christmas lights one night at Bond Street, as the Jubilee line silver grey ushered us our separate ways, my heart escalated from the touch of his lips, feeling my soul soar 2 flights above as we kissed. There are 270 underground stations, 267 more places to convey this elation I feel when I'm with him, and I wonder which one will witness the next kiss.
Thank you, Rachael, and hello.
Hi.
Hello. Just a quick one. Why is the southbound Northern Line's platform at Angel so wide? It's so much wider than the north. Anyway, just.
Well,
really, if anybody knows, can someone email me?
Researching my poem, obviously, I did extensive measuring of platforms for that one.
Yeah, I might write a poem about that. It really bugs me. The first question is why poetry?
I found out what poetry was when I was at prep school, and I was about 6 or 7, and I had a teacher called Mr. Walker. He was actually the headmaster of the school, and he was an English don, and then got sacked from his university, as I understand it, and went to teach at some tiny prep school. And he was very much into obviously the classical canon, and then people like, Auden was one of his favourites, and when you read Night Mail, for example, by W.H. Auden, when you're a kid, because it's that train, it's that rhythm, it's that whole, the imagery of the, moorlands and the boulders and all of that kind of thing, it's really evocative, I think, particularly for a child. And so I got into it through him, and we had poetry competitions at school, and I put myself forward for lots of that sort of stuff. And also I came from a theatrical background. My dad's an actor, for example. My grandfather was a actor and model and stuff like that. So kind of performances in the family anyway. And so it was something that was an easy route to do little short performances. So it kind of started at school when I was very small. And then I went through and had English ruined by school, I think. As lots of people do, you do GCSEs and it kind of crushes those amazing novels that you're forced to read. And so I did it for A-level, which was a mistake. And I decided to stop there and not go to university and not carry on. And I think that poetry, for me, was something that I came back to whenever I felt unfulfilled artistically, because I'd started on the journey of becoming an actress, which is what I do, and did, and that was great, and I did my training and all that kind of thing. And then in the moments when maybe there wasn't so much acting work around, or maybe, like recently I had my daughter 5 years ago, and in the last 5 years, my body changed, I changed, my casting category sort of kind of went from young, nubile type to haggard old mum, and there's not so much work for those sorts of roles. So the poetry for me, I started the performance poetry side, the kind of the stand-up poetry, whatever you want to call it, purely to fill in for the lack of performance work that I was getting. And also, I've always written, I continue to keep writing poetry all the way through my life, because I find it cathartic, yes, and of course that kind of stuff doesn't ever make it to an audience or to the page, because that would be terribly wanky. But I also wanted to keep it going because it keeps your mind kind of nimble and your thoughts fresh, and it keeps you creative. I think it's a nice, easy, short fix. You can knock out a poem in an hour. You know, you can take days over it, but you can also knock it out in a very short space of time. And I think that for me is an exercise, a creative exercise, is something that's very important. And then I found the performance poetry scene through Mark Grist a couple of years ago, when his Girls Who Read and all of that kind of thing, and his work with Mixie, and the viral video that he did with what's his name, the kid that they set it up as a rap battle.
Yes, yeah.
So all of that stuff, that caught my attention, and I wrote to Mark and I said, look, I found this poem you did, it's called Girls Who Read, I really like it, but I think I could do one better. And so I rewrote it as a bloke who reads, and I sent it to him and I said, what do you think? And he said, actually, I think that's really good. Yeah, it is better than mine, but shh, don't tell anyone. and he said, well, you should go and do this thing. So I found Niall O'Sullivan at Poetry Cafe, and I went and did my Tuesday night induction, as everybody does,
Everyone
I think.
does, yeah. Poetry introduction. Cafe.
Yeah, exactly. And made my introductions. And then I kind of worked out what the poetry scene wanted, and I started writing that kind of thing. So I kind of changed my style a lot and went from very pagey stuff to very stagey stuff. And that's what really gets me going now. I think I love giving an audience something to laugh about or cry about or think about. I want to change how the audience feel inside. So all of my stuff is very much geared towards the audience. I don't really...
Yeah. Speaking of the audience, that was going to be the next question. So, no, it's fine. It brings us on quite nicely to the next question anyway, about how often do you read your poetry in public? And
well, when I started off, I found it very easy to pick up gigs and stuff, because I went to every single gig I could possibly find, and that was great. And then people start booking you for their nights, and that's wonderful. And then I got to a point about a year in, and I thought, Christ, I'm bored of my own work, and I've been reading the same kind of 20 poems over and over and over, and I didn't have any real impetus to create any more. So I put it down for a year and a bit, and then recently again last year, in the summer, I went back to it, and I've picked up a few gigs again, and I think once you're in it, it's easy to pick up gigs, and you kind of talk to the people, and you go around to everyone's nights and you perform there. So I do it as often as I can, as often as people will allow me to. But it's not something that I think, I feel sad and dejected if I haven't been booked for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Have you had anything published?
I have.
Yeah.
I've had bits and bobs published in various things. I mean, when I was 7, In the School magazine was my first poem, and I think my mum and dad have still got a copy of it somewhere. But I've had stuff in The Guardian, which was quite exciting because my mother showed everybody and framed it, and then other like zines and things like that, people's blogs. As far as publishing a book is concerned, it's not something that I particularly care about at the moment.
No, it wasn't really that I was asking anyway. It's not there are so few people that actually get to publish, and
I think if you want to do it, it's there and you can do it.
You can self-publish anyway, so it isn't really, I should maybe reframe that question and rephrase that question
no, I think it's important though.
No, because I think most people, if like you're saying, if you were very interested in publishing or being published, you just go onto what's that site? The link with Amazon, you just go on upload
totally,
it, and it's print per order, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Print on order.
Although good luck to those who do, so
Oh no, absolutely, but just don't try and sell me your book for £3 next time. I don't mean it's not going to be any good, but I just can't afford to keep buying all these books.
Exactly,
I know. They self-publish.
I've got loads up there.
They should come attached, like in W.H. Smith's, where everything comes with a half-price Galaxy bar.
Yes.
And then I think maybe.
Now that's what I would do. In fact, I was on Twitter the other day. There's a guy called Joseph Clark who I just love and adore, and he tweeted something about my next poetry anthology I'm going to sell with a free gram of gack, because that's the only way that fuckers are going to pick it up.
That'll get poetry on the market.
Exactly.
Maybe maybe another poem.
Thank you. Okay, I am going to... Okay, this one is called Frustrated. Fuck. I want more of you. I'm frustrated and hate this stalling. Every inch and atom of my being's calling you. I'm falling hard here, and it's only from fear of losing this tenuous thing that I hesitate, stop still and wait. You said I was hot to handle, and while I feel the need to prohibit any scandal and keep this on the down low, for both of us it's a no-no for many and several reasons, not least a sense of treason, trespass against those around us. I need more of you. I need to up the heat and sate the yearn I feel so deep. This is hysteria resistance. It makes me apply brakes. Something I'm unfamiliar with, but I need to protect you from me, and so I leave, unfulfilled again and waiting, unrequited till the next time when I hope against hope I'll find you there, with arms open wide, wanting to act, as I hate this sensation of hiatus. In fact, it fuels my crazy, compromises my status as a rational being, and I can't see for seeing. I'm screwed because of how much I want to immerse myself in you. Perspective is skewed into delusion. A fusion of reality and invention. I think I mentioned this before, that I'm not normal. And being muy caliente may be part of my charm, but the viciousness with which I want you makes me want to self-harm. And though I won't, I'm unsure of what to do. And so I just thank you for being you. And you say that's all you know, and I say you're my muse, but I still rue this decision to cause us this fission and not use you how I really want to. And as I walk home tonight, the wind blows bitterly cold, though my aching flesh and bones and my feet freeze in icy puddles beneath. It's better than the alternative. Overthinking and berating myself for not being good enough, not being pretty or clever or hood enough. I worry that I'm not tough enough, that you'll reject me because my step's not dub enough. But inside, I know that's not right. We've already hit heady heights, an emotional contract, there's no going back, and I know that I'm forward, but this hurts so bad when I lack you. I hated tonight. It was like being a million miles from your immediate vicinity, and I had to call up all the reserves of decorum within me to sit by your side and leave you alone, and ingratiate myself with your mates, and watch you from afar, so close, on my own. You once said I shone like a star. Every time we meet, I want the same chance to prove my worth, to impress upon you my wit and verve in the hope that something occurs and stirs you to eschew social protocol and show me I've earned your attention and perhaps your affection, but it's not always feasible. And I know I'm unreasonable to expect something commensurate with my intemperate nature, but I'm frustrated, unsatiated. This burns. So I nervously, reservedly reverse out of this situation, and I held back as you walked me to the station, still with that usual sense of elation at being in your presence, but resenting the crowd around us, those plus ones who stopped this potential for blissful interaction, keeping me from achieving satisfaction, and so we part. With a single platonically planted kiss on the lips, missing a hint of the frisson on with which I wish to insist you go. We part solo. Leaving it on the down low, figurative ellipses hang in the air. A space once positive is no longer there. A negative void is left. Breath baited. I go home frustrated.
Thank you very much. How do you critique your own work? I mean, do you have
harshly?
Yeah. Do you have people you share it with, or do you take feedback? Do you look for feedback from audiences?
Generally, to write, I need to be obsessed about a person, place, or thing, and quite usually it's a person. So I kind of fall in love with people all the time, and I obsess terribly about them, and then I create a piece of work. And so quite often I'd like to show it back to them and see what they think and see if they recognise, not for praise sake, but just to see if they recognise any of themselves in it. And sometimes it might be something quite abstract. So if I were to write a poem about you, I wouldn't necessarily mention your name or anything that we've done. It might be in completely abstract terms, and yet I would want you to be able to recognise something of yourself in it. So, and if you couldn't, then I would go back and redraw it and readapt it. But so I guess that's partly where I go to for critique. Also, I go to my dad is, as I said before, he's an actor and of the very sort of classical old school as well. So his appreciation of text and what works in performance, I hold his opinion in high esteem, because I think he knows me very well and he knows how I write very well and he knows what kind of technically works well. And so I often go to him and say, Dad, how's this looking? How's this working? And it will usually be from a technical point of view, so not so much about content, but about, the rhythm, the meter, the pace, whatever. From a sort of a literary perspective, yeah, I've got lots of friends in the game, so yeah, we all talk about these things, and if somebody's got an idea about something that I've done, I might go back home and redraft something and think, ooh, so-and-so said this, maybe I should try it, X, Y or Z way. But a lot of the time, it's me and my husband sitting on the sofa that you're sitting on right now, and I'll read something to him, and he'll say, "Yeah, no, that's if it stops him watching Match of the Day,
yes,
it's a good poem."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Usually, if people can stop me thinking about pie and mash, then they've written something really
right.
Nice.
Sweet, there you go.
Yeah. Doesn't happen very often.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. How would you like to see your writing progress? Have you had any ideas? Would you like to write something longer, or you happy just sort of improving what you're doing?
I think for me, at the moment, progression would be churning out more of the kind of performance-orientated poetry that I'm really enjoying writing at the moment, and that's primarily because I'm enjoying it so much. I'm not looking to make a massive career out of this, so there's no sort of plan as far as that would go. Somebody asked to publish some of my work in an anthology recently, and it all went south because she wasn't doing what she said she was going to be doing, which is a shame. But I don't really have an eye on being published in a book or anything like that particularly. However, if it were to happen, I think it would be an interesting exercise, because then it would turn me completely around the other way again and make me write in a very different way, which would, again, be a good exercise. But as far as progression is concerned, no, I just want to carry on doing more of the same, really.
Let's have some more of the same. Let's have another poem.
Okay. I'll try and make it not too samey, obviously. Okay. 2 minutes, which ironically takes longer than 2 minutes. So, this is how it goes. My back is to the wall. You're much taller and tower over me, and my heart is racing. I face you. The laser-like gaze is scintillating, and all I can hear is crackling static. I feel panicked and frantic inside, and my frame shakes, and I'm sure you think I'm far less interesting than you previously did, but still, here we are. Reality expands and contracts, so near yet far, and as you interlace your fingers with mine, my breath's undermined. I struggle to respire, giddy and high. You steady me by dropping a kiss on my cheek and say, "See, relax, it's just me." And right then, the rain-washed pavement beneath our feet falls away from under me, and the sky falls down from over our heads because of those words I just heard, the ones you just said. You're talking to me. You are talking to me and touching me, and it's all so much. The internal spin never ceases within, and all I want to do is kiss you. I focus on your lips. This is it, for real. Not a picture ripped off the internet. This is that fit bloke I once watched, who floored me with his wit. This is him. And I look, and I know them so well. The line and the form, the dips and the swells of that perfect mouth. And then your head moves slowly towards mine. Fingers grip tighter. I rise slightly on my toes to meet you halfway. What am I doing? This is crazy. It's obvious he amazes me, but what if he doesn't like me the same way? Shut up, Rach. Fears are allayed, dissolved away by the way you expertly press your soft flesh to mine, eliminating my breath. I shake once again. And the sensation of your skin on my skin makes me effervesce and fizz as you drop my hands and place your palms on the sides of my face and draw me close in. I close my eyes and melt into you, rendered senseless and struck dumb. You achieved quite the feat. For one usually so verbose and loquacious, I can barely inhale, let alone say shit, and I feel every minute movement of the musculature of your mouth. Your tongue meets mine, and you lick my lexicon and blow my mind.
Thank you. Last couple of questions.
Yeah.
What have been the main influences over your development as a writer or performer?
I think reading everything that I've ever read, and that goes for the back of a fag packet to, Chaucer and Shakespeare and everything in between and around. I think as far as actual people are concerned, it might not be necessarily that apparent in my work, but I think, you know, I listen to a lot of hip hop music and I love a lot of jazz music, so the rhythmical element and the sort of internal rhyme element of my work is heavily influenced by that kind of thing. But yeah, as far as real people are concerned, I take my influences from everybody I meet. So it could be anyone. It could be somebody standing at a bus stop. It could be a best friend. It could be, a family member, anything. And then obviously it's kind of all, I put it into a kind of machine that was created at school and by my parents, teaching me how to learn, how to assimilate information, how to kind of throw that information back out into the world in a different way.
And is there anything, is there anything you would recommend to people to go out and see or read or watch? And this doesn't have to be poetry, basically.
Yeah, everything, all of it. I feel as an artist of any description, whether you're a dancer or a poet or a writer or whatever, I feel that you are like a vessel that needs constantly filling up. So you need to put as much information in there as possible, and whether that's, you know, pictorial information or you know, it can be going to a concert, or it could be, you know, and there are many different kinds of concerts. you can, as long as you're constantly doing something to take in some information every day, it doesn't matter where it comes from, because it's all useful and it all sticks in there in your head. It all, you know, it will come out at the right point when you need to draw on it. It will be there for you. So read as much as you can, listen to as much music as you can, do as many, you know, varieties of sort of cultural stuff as you can, go to galleries, go and do things that you never thought that you would like to do. I remember, you know, when I was a kid, my dad would play country music and I think, oh my God, this is awful. Now, I bought a Dwight Yoakam CD the other day, so...
is that a real person?
Yeah, he is. His name's Dwight Yoakam. It's fabulous. So, you know, and whilst it might not be my number one album on iTunes at the moment, it's definitely something that I've found, you know, has influenced my work a bit. And I think it's really important to throw yourself into situations, either culturally or sort of, you know, or personally even, that challenge you in some way. Do something that frightens you. Do something that makes your heart race. Do something that you feel automatically what you wanted to say no to.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
Poems. Rachel, you can follow Rachel on Twitter. What is that? Twitter /
I'm at Rachael Black.
At Rachael Black, but that link will be under. Again, I'm pointing down on an audio recording to signify that link will be underneath the video when you're watching it, because this will go out on YouTube. You will be currently looking at YouTube. It's below the video. Thank you, Rachel. You lot clear off.